welcome back, friends, once again. We're together. Still. Imagine that. Alright, so today we have a top 5 video for you, or in our case, because there are 2 of us, it'll be a top 10. And we have picked 5 of our ugliest book covers. And while ugly is indeed in the eye of the beholder, either they are just downright uninteresting to look at, or they seemed to have very little to do with the plot and or story itself. Mm-hmm. And we will go back and forth and show you 10. And you can let us know what you think.
I get to start, though, because last is really nice. So the first one that I think is a kind of an ugly cover is this version of the Silmarillion by Tolkien. So I read the Silmarillion, didn't really take in much of what happened, but I think we can all agree, no matter if you have or haven't read this book, that this is ugly. Like, I've seen way prettier versions of this.
Is that a dragon?
It's like a creation. No, that's not a dragon. That's a person thing. It's like an elf.
Got it.
See I think it's an elf.
Those are the ears.
Yeah. And, they're doing something. They're creating something or whatever. I'm sure maybe if you've read the book and remember it, you might actually be able to remember what is happening in this scene right now. But either way, it's ugly. And there are way better versions of this book.
So this is a little bit unfair of me, I think, but this is a very old copy of Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. It's dark, it's foreboding, it's sad. I understand. If you're a Kate Bush fan, I get it. It's dark and foreboding and sad. However, not at all enticing to the reader whatsoever. I'm sure that as this is a classic, it's been reproduced many times with many covers, and you know what? It can be better done. It's sad to have this sit on my shelf, especially when this is the spine. It's just bad. It's just bad.
My second choice, we all know that a lot of times the movie or TV tie-in is ugly. Yeah, well, here's one of those. So this is The Stand by Stephen King, and you know, ignore the fact that it's really beat up because this was given to me secondhand by somebody else and probably given to them as well as a secondhand book. But this is just like the characters from the TV show. I never saw the TV, version, but just Molly Ringwald and what's his face just chilling in the sky, and just it's just
her hands glowing.
It's like there's mountains, and then her hand is
like
coming
the
up.
Sunset.
It's just so ugly. I've seen much cooler versions of this, but I mean, I got this one for free, so obviously that's why I own it. I never would have bought this otherwise, but it is just ugly.
The Barnes & Noble Classics collections generally do a pretty good job. It's always a solid color, and then a picture, and then another solid color smaller at the bottom. But why everyone insists on this pukey green-brown is beyond me. This is This Side of Paradise by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and as we can see here, this is a very nice illustration. I get the aesthetic, I understand, but it's brown. It's like this greeny brown color. It's not enticing whatsoever. And I'm sure if I'd actually finished this book, I would understand more about what's happening. But I haven't finished this book, and therefore it makes it even more unattractive to me to go back and pick it up again. There is a small slice of the woman from the front on the back cover, which I can understand. Maybe that's why this image was
like
chosen.
That,
I like the idea. But I don't like the execution. So not only is the front not my cup of tea, but nor is the back. That's still the front. Nor is the back.
Classics really seem to take a beating, and I'm going to bring in another classic here. This one's a bit older than the last one, though. This version of Jane Eyre was cheap. I'll give them that. But they're cheap for a reason, because they put no creativity and they printed it on cheaper material here. Jane Eyre always seems to be, the book cover always seems to be just some woman looking morose off in the distance. And this one is, exactly the same way, but the color scheme is just so bad. It's like she just dissolves into black at the bottom, and just, no, it's so ugly. There's nothing else to say if you're just like, no.
So this is a book I haven't read yet. This is Quiet by Susan Cain, and while I can understand from an introvert perspective about the sadness and the softness of this gray cover, actually, like, physically it is also quite soft. It's kind of felty on the front. It's just, see? It's uninteresting. It's boring.
I like it.
It has nothing to do with anything. It's just like this whitewashed canvas of gray with some popping red and this gigantic Q. I hope she's trying to make a statement with this when I read it, because I'm not about it.
I know you like it. It probably is. I like it. I'm gonna stand by it. Second to last choice for me. I know you love this book, but this is an ugly cover.
I almost picked my version of this too.
Hey, so Les and I obviously kind of think the same with this one. John Irving's A Prayer for Owen Meany. We read this for school, back in high school. But what is this cover? Like, no. Why would you put this on the cover? This is a good quality book, and it's part of a series where, you know, they publish all of his books with very similar designs with, like, this one picture on the front. But why would you choose this? Like, this isn't going to make a kid read this book.
The dress form is part of the plot.
Well, like, there are other parts of the plot that are slightly more interesting than a dress form. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Like, just a different design, I think, would have fit a lot better. Because, like, no kid is gonna look at this and be like, A Prayer for Owen Meany in a mannequin dress form? Like, oh wow, that sounds so interesting. No.
Conveniently, mine is just a really large picture of John Irving going like this.
Also ugly.
It's like, got this chiseled face and these big eyebrows, and it's the same, like, color scheme on the top, and then he's this gray, white, and black and white floof. Like, get a baseball or something. At least that's something to look at.
That would have been better.
Yeah.
I really think putting a baseball or some baseball diamond on it or something, I really think that would have been better.
Better choices, people. Think it through.
So,
Earthbound by April Lynn Pike is about this girl who discovers that she has these interesting powers, and I don't remember what she does with them, because if you watch my review of both this and the sequel to it, Earthquake, you will find that these unfortunately were quite poor. This is a plant in ice.
what's going on? What is going on in this cover?
All that's happening here. She is an Earthbound. That's what happens. She's like part of this like small group of people who have like these Earthbound powers. They don't freeze plants into ice is the thing. And it looks like someone did like stock footage of interesting nature things on Google and was like, this one looks nice.
We'll do this
Let's
one.
put it on the front.
Yeah. My final choice fell under the YA romance curse of what the hell is this cover. So, Perfect Chemistry by Simone Alcalez. Not a great book, but the cover is pretty bad. So we just have these two teenagers just locked in some sort of sexy embrace, but like on the ground, you know? And no one does that, first of all. No one does this. No one just lays on the ground and like strokes somebody else on the side. But just... No, I was embarrassed to read this in public because of this cover. It's really bad.
I didn't even realize there were two people there.
Yeah.
For a second. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's like they're in an alleyway or something.
Yep. And it's just no.
Is there a second one?
Yeah, the second one is like that's honestly a little bit better in my opinion.
What is it?
They're like the second one.
Are there people?
Rules of Attraction. There's two people leaning across and they're kissing in like the rain, which is honestly, in my opinion, slightly better than just laying on the ground and gazing into each other's eyes.
To finish things up, the dramatic sequel to Earthbound Earthquake was equally as poorly done. This is a flower shattering into dozens and dozens and dozens of pieces in a fiery hellstorm, which I can assure you is sort of the plot of this book. There's some, like, the whole earth is going up in flames, the world is ending kind of stuff that happens. But flowers don't shatter in earthquakes.
No.
That's my main problem. And the back is just... It's a bunch of things that Tavia Michaels, who is the main character in the story, says that she is, and I guess this could be like the ground broken apart, but to me, I originally thought it was just either a bunch of rocks or a bunch of envelopes, and they're all labeled with somebody's, adjectives. Not selling it. You're really not selling it, guys.
That is our depressing video about ugly, ugly book covers.
Indeed.
Luckily, there are many other beautiful ones to balance the,
the sadness.
For
sure.
So, we look at those on the shelf and we just turn the other ones to pretend we can't see them.
Those are the ones that you store sort of like with the bottoms facing outward. You store them like this. If you're a publisher and you had the artistic directive or creative decisions on any of these covers, please do let us know if you have any insight into why they were chosen and what the marketing benefits would have been. I would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. If you guys have done a top 5 ugliest book covers, because I know this is a popular top 5 that people have done, do let us know down below. We'll find our way to them. Always funny to watch these. As always, all of the links are in the doobly-doo. Thank you guys very much for watching. And this video has come to a close.